we will get that, and while we're still waiting
Thank you,
for
Mr. Speaker.
to come back.
I rise today on behalf of the Green Party of Aotearoa in support of the Oversight of Oranga Tamariki System Legislation Amendment Bill. As my former colleagues and the Minister have previously outlined, this omnibus bill amends two key acts, the Oversight of Oranga Tamariki System Act 2022 and the Children and Young Persons Commission Act 2022. Specifically, it makes changes to the legislative status of the two core agencies in the Children's Oversight and Monitoring System. It changes Te Aotearoa Tamariki from a departmental agency within the Education Review Office to an independent Crown entity. Secondly, it reverts Mana Mokopuna, Children and Young People's Commission, to a single commissioner model. Mr. Speaker, in supporting this bill, I want to acknowledge its origins. Changes to the Children's Oversight and Monitoring System were introduced in 2022. The Greens previously opposed changes that separated the children's advocacy and monitoring functions for two main reasons, as it risked weakening both roles and compromised the independence of the Children's Oversight System, and having the monitor as a departmental agency within the Education Review Office risked the autonomy of the monitor itself. Mr. Speaker, the Greens are pleased to see the changes in this bill addressing these concerns now. The Children's Monitor will have greater independence by being established as a fully standalone ICE. Mr. Speaker, I want to acknowledge the incredible mahi of the Monitor and those working within it. These kaimahi uplift the stories, experience and reality of tamariki across the motu. They do this daily while respecting the mana and dignity of tamariki and the experiences they seek to uplift. I want to acknowledge the integral mahi of the Monitor since its inception in 2022. There have been many reports published by the Monitor, from tamariki's access to primary health care to tamariki's experience of returning home after state care. But, Mr. Speaker, the report that sticks with me the most is towards a stronger safety net to prevent abuse of children, which centres on the tragic case of Malachi Schubeck's death and the state's repeated failings. It concluded that tamariki are no safer in New Zealand than they were at the time of Malachi's death. These incident reports are a vital part of our oversight system and make sure we care for our tamariki by holding a mirror to the decision makers within agencies and the government so that we can make evidence-based decisions that reflect the needs of the community and centre the children. As I have said previously, the Greens support the intent of giving the Monitor further independence. However, increased independence cannot substitute for adequate funding. The Greens continue to call for sustained funding increases to ensure that the Monitor can effectively uphold decision making, continue to keep decision makers accountable. I want to acknowledge this government for listening to those on the front lines of our care system in New Zealand within this bill. Last week, I had the privilege of meeting again with Voice Whakarongo Mai and recognising the incredible mahi they do nationwide to support care experience tamariki. And I want to share the words of Mary Lynn Huxford, National Care Experience Youth Participation Advisor, who said, quote, "Reverting to an appointed Children's Commissioner will simplify things for tamariki. With an identifiable and reliable person there for them to turn to, I'm so pleased to finally see a government decision about the care sector being informed by those who are care experienced," end quote. This bill reflects the commitment to centring the voices of those with lived care experience in our care response, which the Greens wholeheartedly support. However, this cannot and must not stop here. The government and Crown have profoundly failed survivors of abuse in care. And next week we have this apology, and we need to make sure that we are advocating for all 138 recommendations to be implemented. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It's a pity Frosty's internet connection is a bit all up the whack, and it seems to be quite a few of us seem to be finding out it, not just me.
It's good that everyone's being kept in the loop.
Exactly. How did you find, was it Kahurangi's?
Yeah, I think she spoke very well to it, and I completely see where their perspective is coming from. It's quite interesting as well that this is coming so close to that apology for the Abuse in State Care report. That's clearly a big one, a very important piece of work that's been done, and one that unfortunately feels like we're going to have to do again in 10, 20, 30 years' time with what we're seeing happen come through the system now. So I can certainly see why she's very concerned that government is not learning from its past mistakes, or it seems like it's not learning from its past mistakes, and wants to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because nobody wants to see that result happen. It's just
so would
it's
that
horrible.
echo the quote that was said by Trevor Noah on the Australian project? We're in the dumb era of society at the moment.
Oh, somebody told me, I can't remember where it was. It might have been on TikTok. We're in the find out era, the find out phase. There are 2 phases, and the second one is find out. And yeah, this last week has felt very much like the first phase where you fuck around.
So certainly, yes. Okay.